It's my great pleasure to announce today the Accelerating Medicines Partnership, or AMP. AMP is a brand new partnership between NIH, 10 biopharmaceutical companies, the Foundation for the National Institutes of Health, FDA, several patient organizations, and others. AMP is tackling a major challenge in drug development on an unprecedented scale. As you know, AMP is a unit of current. And we're all amped up this morning about the promise of this new consortium. And in fact, this morning we want to amplify for you why we're so excited. Well, it means we are going to try to increase the odds of picking the right targets to go after for the next generation of drug development. And not only that, we want to pick them at the very beginning of the development process and thus avoid wasting precious time and money chasing down duds. Why do this now? Because the science is ripe. We've come a long way in recent years in our understanding of the causes of disease. As a result of technological advances in genomics, proteomics, imaging, and more, researchers have increasingly been able to identify fundamental changes in genes, proteins, and other molecules that predispose to diseases whose causes have vexed us for all of history. Consider this. It takes an average of more than $1 billion in 14 years to bring a discovery from the lab to the patients. From beginning to end of this pipeline, the current failure rate is about 99%. The most painful failures are those that happen in phase 2 or phase 3 clinical trials, where a drug that has already had years of work and millions of dollars invested in it is found not to provide benefit for those with the disease. All who care about therapeutics agree we need new strategies to avoid those failures. Patients and their loved ones simply can't wait. So now it's time to work together across the public and private sector to harness the rich new resources of biological knowledge and find better ways to develop greater numbers of effective therapeutics at a faster pace. That's what AMP is all about. The public and private sectors came together because we realized collectively that this is a job too big for any single group. AMP will begin with 3 to 5 year pilot projects in 3 disease areas: Alzheimer's disease, type 2 diabetes, and the autoimmune disorders rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. We hope and expect that these pilot projects will set the stage for broadening AMP to other diseases and conditions. In these pilots, researchers will use the full array of new technologies and patient data to distinguish which biological targets are most likely to respond to new therapies. They will also seek to characterize the most effective molecular indicators of disease, which we call biomarkers. This information will then be used by those seeking to develop tests and treatments that are precisely aimed at those targets. I think the fact that 10 companies of this stature have signed on, have committed themselves to working with government, with academia, with nonprofits, and with patient groups, putting their own resources into it, really says it all about the potential of AMP. This landmark partnership will transform the way we develop medicines. And I think no one will be happier to hear that than patients and their loved ones, for whom we really are dedicated in this effort.
And what we would like to have is a precise navigation system, a GPS for human disease. And this GPS is urgently needed because we have pressing needs for patients suffering from many of these diseases, and we are wasting resources and time. And we heard Francis mention some of the statistics. When we start the discovery project in an early phase, it's usually 1% of them that may make it to a successful medicine. And when we move forward some of the most prioritized projects into late-stage trials, where we study thousands of patients, and we spend not millions, but hundreds of millions of dollars, and sometimes, like in cardiovascular disease, $1 billion. It's still only 50% of the projects that really succeed. So we can't afford to continue like that, because we want to serve, all of us, needs for patients and make real steps forward in the way we can treat and manage disease, and do it in an efficient way for the entire healthcare system.
So to see everyone in here teaming up together to try to find better ways to help people like me and people battling these illnesses, it means a lot. being able to put aside any other agendas and be able to really try to think about the patients and the people that are affected means so much to me as a patient, as a person who has friends that have to prick their fingers and check their blood sugar. I'm just hoping this leads to many new therapies that will mean that we can all, myself, those living with type 2 diabetes, those living with Alzheimer's, can all, because we all look amazing on the outside, but we want to make sure that our insides look just as amazing as well. Thank you so much.